about moving to Sacramento or just trying to figure out where the heck to live? This is your local breakdown of Sacramento's best neighborhoods broken down by vibe, lifestyle, and your budget. So if you're trying to get your bearings, this will make things way easier. I'm gonna walk you through Sacramento's layout, but in a way that not even most locals can explain it. And most importantly, where the best places are to live based on your vibe and budget. So whether you're relocating for work, trying to escape Bay Area prices, or just wondering what part of Sacramento has the best coffee to yoga ratio, this is your Sacramento guide. We're not just looking at the map, we're gonna be diving into how the city grew, which communities people gravitate towards the most, and what those neighborhoods feel like, and how to figure out where you fit in. By the end of this video, you'll understand Sacramento's DNA from the gold rush to garage-loving suburb. And trust me, you'll see Sacramento totally different the next time you pull up Google Maps. Sacramento was California's first incorporated city way back in 1850, so if you're checking out some of the oldest homes, don't expect to see garages because cars simply didn't exist back then, and they didn't become common until the 1920s. So next time you're in that part of town, take a closer look. A lot of those small add-on garages were probably horse stables that got converted to hold a car later on. Take a look at this colored map. It shows you the age of the buildings, which should be an inference to the age of the homes. So if you take a look here, the beige, the lighter colors that represent early 1900s, and as you move down into the greens, that's pretty much the post-World War II boom. And then of course, the darker the blues takes you into the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, which of course are the newer buildings. So if you take a look here at the original settlement of Sacramento, which is the grids of downtown right in this area, you can see a concentration of the light beige early 1900s. But interestingly enough, you have several blue spots, which to me is a clear sign of a whole lot of revitalization happening in the core of Sacramento's downtown area. So now you can refer to this map to help you focus in on certain areas. For example, if you're fond of a particular style and architecture of a certain decade or era, like my favorite mid-century modern homes, I know that those were popular in the 50s, so I'm gonna look around at this shade of green at certain areas and maybe take a stroll over there or take a drive to see if I can find some of my favorite architectural homes. So let's switch gears here to something just as cool. Check out this time lapse of Sacramento's sprawl over time. Basically, you can see how the city grew and which neighborhoods were built first. And what's interesting is, as you'll see next, many of those original areas are still some of the most popular and most desirable places to live today in Sacramento. That's a huge clue for buyers because it means these neighborhoods have held their value for decades. And if you're thinking about buying or investing in Sacramento, this is the kind of stuff that really helps you make smart moves. So let's get into the lay of the land. We're gonna focus on everything in between the two main rivers that encase the main grid of Sacramento, the American River to the north and the Sacramento River to the west. From there, we'll radiate outward like waves to Sacramento's most desirable neighborhoods nearest until you've got a mental map that actually makes sense. And it all starts with the grid. The grid is the pulse of Sacramento. It's the heart, a compact, walkable, or rollable 2x2 mile stretch with lettered and numbered streets. Now, a little pet peeve alert, people always call it all downtown, but it actually has three distinct zones. Zone number one is Old Sacramento, which we locals call Old Sac. This takes up about 2.5 streets when you count the alley. It's the birthplace of Sac, so here you'll see cobblestone streets that can roll an ankle if you're not careful. Just think gold rush vibes and horse-drawn carriage. It definitely feels like a Western theme park with a beautiful riverfront, but don't expect riverfront housing. In fact, don't expect any homes here, just a few lofts and live and work spots pretty much tucked above the shops and restaurants. Now, as we slightly move on up into zone number two, this is downtown, which starts at 3rd Street and ends with a hard stop at 16th Street. So think State Capitol, Golden One Center for the Sacramento Kings, the Doco Shopping and Restaurant, which is the region's newest hub for shopping and dining. It's got the business district buzz with rooftop bars, games and concerts, basically where sports jerseys meet suits and ties. This is the spot for people who want energy, walkability, or rollability. This sector is where you only question if an Uber ride is needed to avoid a light glisten on the forehead. As far as housing, think historic flats, sleek high-rises, condos, and luxury lofts. Median home price is at around 1.175 million due to all the ritzy high-rise condos with views and concierge service. Yep, this is champagne budget territory. Now moving on up towards Midtown. This is 16th to 29th Street. Now this is the fun zone. Breweries, murals, music, farmers markets. You could say you can find a whole lot of characters in this section. It's a blend of old Victorians, bungalows, and edgy new construction. The median home price here is about $919,000. It's not cheap, but you're paying for an active location, charm, and lifestyle. Midtown is ideal if you want city life with character. Oh, and a heads up, this lifestyle comes with noise and parking battles. So if you're not into that or not into someone rummaging into your recycling bin right outside your house at 2 a.m., then maybe Midtown is not your scene. If so, just wait until you see the next neighborhood. Now that you got a good sense of the main grid, let's take you into the first layer of neighborhoods that literally hug the grid. These are the most desirable spots, but before we dive in, quick PSA, when I mention price tags for a neighborhood, I'm giving you the median price, not the average. Let me break down why before someone jumps into the comments and tries to correct it. The median is the number right in the middle of all sales. Half the homes sold for less, the other half sold for more. It gives a much more accurate picture, especially in neighborhoods where there are super high or super low sales, we call outliers, which could really throw off the average more than the median. So here's a quick visual to help explain it, because honestly, a lot of real estate agents mix this up too. This is why I use median. It's simpler and more realistic. So here on the image shows clearly the difference between median versus average price. These 5 houses, the $10 million is definitely an outlier. And when you do the average, it calculates it to resemble a $2.67 million neighborhood, when if you take the median, the house right in the middle, 500K, is actually more accurate and reflective of the neighborhood pricing. Now that we've nailed down the core or the grid of downtown, let's zoom out. I like to think of Sacramento in waves or rings like a tree trunk. Similar to the time-lapse video I showed you, the first ring, these are the most desirable neighborhoods and they hug the grid. They are prime location. I call this the urban suburban ring. You're minutes from downtown, but you've got a garage, a yard, and room to have chickens if you wanted to. These spots blend charm, tree-lined streets, and both walkability and rollability with a little more breathing room. Being right next to the downtown grid makes these homes especially desirable. Let me walk you through the map, starting from the most logical geographic point of reference where the river hits the southwest corner of the grid. This is Land Park. From there, we'll loop around the core, around that grid, highlighting these neighborhoods ring by ring, each with its own vibe, character, and medium home price. So we've got lots to cover from the grid to the surrounding neighborhoods to the burbs beyond that. And don't worry about taking notes, just drop the word grid guide in the comments and I'll give you access to my interactive map that gives pricing, the cool neighborhoods, and everything we go over in this video and much more. By the end of this, you'll know Sacramento better than the locals. Let's kick things off with Land Park and Upper Land Park. Land Park, known for its big trees and timeless neighborhood feel. You got the popular greenscapes of William Land Park, home to the Sacramento Zoo, fairy tale town, golf course, and scenic trails. I personally love this place with a median price of $769,000 and Upper Land Park sitting at around $730,000. Moving up and still hugging the grid, you got Curtis Park. Curtis Park boasts front porch vibes and an old school neighborhood feel. It even received a national recognition as a top 10 neighborhood in the country once upon a time. The median home price here is $842,000. Now moving right along the grid, still tightly wrapping around, as you can see, you got North Oak Park. North Oak Park is diverse, dynamic, often labeled as an up-and-coming area, but if you ask me, we're well beyond that, and it's already thriving with unique energy. The median home price is $507,000. Now we're starting to bend around the grid's corner. As you can see, still hugging tight around the grid, we have Elmhurst. This one's a gem. It's the perfect blend of suburban calm and city convenience, sitting right next to UC Davis Med Center. You'll often catch doctors and nurses unwinding in the neighborhood park. And real talk, if you were ever gonna faint somewhere, Elmhurst might be your safest bet. Odds are you'd come to with an off-duty nurse already checking your vitals. Median home price is around $658,000. Now we're into the home stretch, the final part of the neighborhood puzzle that completes that most desirable wrap around the grid, East Sacramento. Known for McKinley Park and its timeless charm, this is also where you'll find the iconic Fab 40s, home to both the house where Ronald Reagan once lived and yes, that blue house from Lady Bird, a local favorite. Median home prices hover around $849,000, but in the 40s, it's not uncommon to see homes push past $2.5 million. As for what the former US President Ronald Reagan's old place listed for, I'll let you ChatGPT that one. And finally, River Park. River Park, the last line to touch the American River, tucked between East Sac and the American River. Great trails and awesome river access. Median price, $730,000. All right, now let's get into what I call the second wave of neighborhoods, the next tier of super desirable spots in Sacramento. These are just behind the first ring of homes that wrap the grid. They're still really connected, a little bit further out, but you get more space and bang for your buck. I think of them as more of a suburban-urban balance. A little more room, a little more mellow, but still close enough to feel the heartbeat of the city. So we'll start right here in Southland Park. Median price goes for $719,000. Tree-lined suburban vibe, great schools and parks. Then we go a little bit further out, wrapping around Tahoe Park and South Tahoe Park. Classic post-war homes, tight-knit feel. Median price for Tahoe Park, $507,000. And South Tahoe Park, median price is $642,000. Now if we wrap all the way down on this side, you see College Glen. More mid-century older homes with condos and townhomes becoming very abundant in the area, right near the river trails in Sac State. All right, so now we're getting into that third outer layer, as you can see here, just outside the grid. They've kind of lost their claim to urban living, but they're still super desirable as close-in suburbs. I mean, we're only talking 2 to 4 miles out, still close enough to dip into the city vibe whenever you want. Plenty of folks still consider them close enough to feel the vibe of Sacramento's central grid. We'll start right here, Hollywood Park, a hidden gem with cool mid-century feel and less than 2.5 miles away from the Midtown action. Median price, $584,000. And here you got North City Farms, entry-level neighborhoods with character and yard space. A sleeper pick if you ask me. Median price, $419,000. One of the best deals near the grid. South City Farms, tiny neighborhood, similar feel, even lower price. Median price around $365,000. Not flashy, but it's home. Now, taking it up, slightly wrapping around the grid as you can see here, we got West Tahoe Park, often overlooked by Tahoe Park seekers, making this a hidden gem. Median price, $545,000. And tucked right behind is Colonial Heights, quaint, close to the Med Center, and beginning to bloom. Median price, $475,000. And right next door, you got Talek Village, one of my favorite secret spots. Affordable, modest charm, and you can find some great fixer potentials mixed in. Median price, $425,000. And right next to Talek Village, you got Colonial Manor. Smaller homes, more affordable, and good rental potential. Median price, $449,000. Colonial Village, almost twin to Colonial Manor, but just slightly cheaper. Median price, $427,000. And finally, coming to a complete wrap within the third ring of the most desirable neighborhood is La Rivera. This is close to Sac State, near the American River Parkway, and you'll find a good mix of houses, townhomes, and condos. Median price, $505,000. And finally, further orbiting out way yonder, since I promised communities in between the two major riverways, are communities that made the cut, which are Rosemont and Parkway Estate. I consider these neighborhoods underrated and affordable, but full-on outer suburbs. I consider Rosemont a solid starter neighborhood with good light rail access and and a traditional rent-style home carrying a median price of $499,000. And here we end at Parkway Estates, affordable, community-focused, and a great entry point for buyers with a median price of $434,000. Learning where Sacramento's very first settlement began and really understanding the grid and how the city grew is honestly the best way to get to know why today's hottest real estate zones are where they are. Now, I kept this tour mostly around the grid, but these are just a few of the hot spots. There are so many other great areas like Natomas, Elk Grove, Folsom, Granite Bay, Roseville, and much more. If you want to know more about other hotspot communities near Sacramento, or if you want access to my interactive map that I constantly keep updated based on my nearly 20 years of boots on the ground real estate work, just drop the word grid guide in the comment. I'll send it your way and save you a bunch of time. This is Pablo Salazar, broker associate for Sacramento and surrounding area.